All right, hey everybody, welcome to Trending. Today is Thursday, December 2nd. It's around 9:45 in the morning. Matt, this is my friend Joe.
How's it going?
We are taking you backstage a little bit. So this is where we film our announcements usually. This is our little studio. We've got some festive decor behind us, so we thought we would show you our little studio space here. So we are in the recording studio today.
Yes.
And we're going to talk about today's trending topics. How you doing today, Joe? You ready for
Doing
this?
great. It's going to be 70 degrees today.
Yeah.
75.
It doesn't feel like it's December 2nd.
I know, but we'll take it.
Yeah, it's nice, but I'm ready for Christmas to set in, really.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
It's hard to feel Christmassy when it's 72 degrees outside.
I know. Yeah,
But
I feel you.
it's nice for putting your lights up and raking your leaves and stuff.
I guess so. There you go. Take care of business.
So we've got the 5 topics today, but I've also got a game that we're going to play at the end.
Okay.
So stick with us because you can play at home, wherever you're watching today. So
All right.
we've got a fun little trivia thing at the end. So
All right, let's do it.
get things started. So number 1 topic today, a guy I didn't know, but he's got a cool name.
Okay.
I'm going to butcher it. He's a French artist named Georges Seurat.
Okay.
I'm not really sure how to say it,
I don't know.
but hopefully we're close.
Yeah.
So he is a famous artist who, this is another trend on trending, he's on the Google Doodle today.
Oh, nice.
Today would have been his, I think, 160th birthday, something like that.
Whoa.
So he became famous because he was one of the first to do those paintings where it's just a bunch of dots.
Oh, I love those.
They're super cool. So
Yeah.
I'll put some up so you can see them. But if you're up close, it just looks like dots. But then you stand back and you see this really intricate painting.
That is cool.
So he was kind of the one to make that famous and popular. So today's Google Doodle is Google written just with a bunch of dots. So he's just kind of a pioneer artist that Google is honoring today.
I think it's cool. I think he helps, among others, develop this idea how art is not just an object, but it's an experience, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's a neat experience of seeing the convoluted dots and then stepping back, see the picture that's clear.
Yeah.
Some of these artists today, they take pieces of trash and they kind of work it into stuff, or they put a light. It looks like a mound of trash and they put a light on it, and the shadow makes this really neat picture. Or you're not just observing the art, but you're experiencing with it. I think that's a neat element of art itself.
And I love the idea of taking something super simple, just like a dot,
Yeah.
just a bunch of dots, but then you back up and it's just this masterpiece. So
Yeah.
again, thanks to Google, because we're learning all kinds of stuff from the Google Doodle as we talk about this stuff. So
Man, thanks, Google.
we're looking at the Google top 5 trends. It is a little suspicious how often the Google Doodle is number 1 on the Google trending list.
Yeah.
So I don't know if there's some collusion to Google going on here, but hey, we like it. It's interesting. We get to learn new people through this.
That's right. All right.
So Georges Seurat, I'm probably butchering his name, but thanks for your contribution to art.
Happy birthday.
Yes, happy birthday. Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm going to skip a couple we'll come back to.
Okay.
Britney Spears is trending today.
Okay.
So today is her 40th birthday.
Wow.
So happy birthday to Britney Spears.
Okay.
I'm a little surprised. I don't think we've talked about Britney yet this year.
The whole Free Britney.
The whole Free Britney
yes.
conservatory thing. So that recently kind of wrapped up, and she's, I think she still has a little bit of financial oversight, but she's mostly free again. Did you follow that story? What were your thoughts as you heard about all that?
I mean, I thought it was strange that somebody of her age, somebody of her clout, would have come under that conservatorship. I get it. I mean, some people, if even an adult can't, function well in society, we do have this mechanism to make sure they're under care. But it did seem like a big ordeal. It drug on a whole lot longer than necessary.
Yeah.
And so what a sad thing. Whenever you see families struggle like that, I think it's just a sad commentary on all of humanity, not just one culture, country, but just all of humanity, where people would take advantage even of a loved one. That's just sad.
Yeah.
And so I'm glad she's out and free. Hopefully she can do more with her life now because of it. So it's all on her now, which is good. And it's also puts a lot of pressure on her from here.
In case people weren't following the story, so basically the gist is some judges ruled that she wasn't fit to rule or to look over her own finances and some of those kind of bigger decisions. So that her father was her conservator, and basically he made all those decisions for her. For I think over a decade. It was a long time.
It was harsh security, where her phone was monitored and all that stuff, which seemed to be just a little too much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think I'm on the Free Britney side. There's been 2 documentaries. I watched both of them. I listened to a podcast. I've kind of been following it.
So you're not just an armchair.
No,
you're indoctrinated in this.
Well,
stuff.
I listened to Britney Spears when I was in high school. I think everyone did.
Yeah.
But it's just an interesting story, and the documentaries were super well done. They're just very well done.
Yeah.
And I'm going to come back to this, but I'm a culture vulture, right? So I got to know what's going on in the world. So I've watched and listened to this story from the beginning. It's just an interesting story. There's a little like I'm on the Free Britney side, but there's a little part of me that's like, there's got to be something we don't know. You know what I mean? There's got to be a reason why the courts and why her father thought she needed help.
Yeah.
And so I hope that she, it's fine that she's able to handle her own affairs well. Mm-hmm. I hope we don't see some kind of collapse after she has all this freedom. Of course, I'm wishing her the best, and
right.
It's a complicated situation, but I'm glad she's free to make her own decisions.
Yeah, 40 years old today.
40 years old. So happy birthday, Britney Spears.
Happy birthday.
Okay, sports story for you.
Okay.
Are you following the LeBron drama?
Yeah.
No. So what do you know about that?
So he's in quarantine. He shared that he was vaccinated, so this is a breakthrough case if he's got it. NBA protocols make him have to stay in quarantine for 10 days away from team activities unless he's tested and gets negative. And he's going to miss another 4 games and stuff. And he, I guess, posted online like a bunch of fish emojis after all of this.
Okay, I missed that.
So like he was thinking something's fishy about this, but to be honest, I think everyone, like if you think LeBron's a villain or if you enjoy watching LeBron, I think everyone wants to watch him play because he's a great basketball player.
Sure.
And so I don't think there's anything about people wanting to keep him out of the game. I mean, he's the one who invented this load management thing, this generation of load management for ball players that older basketball players feel they're so nauseated by that you would take time off intentionally. And so it is kind of interesting to see what happens from here. The Lakers, they need him because they're like crazy. A 500 ball club right now. And so I hope that he can test negative a couple times to get back to help them out because I think they're going to flounder without him.
Flounder. Maybe that's what he meant with the fish emojis.
Pun intended, dude.
Dad joke. But it's unique because he says he was vaccinated, and I think he was asymptomatic too. So I think he just was going through protocol and he came across positive. So, well, our well wishes to LeBron. I hope he gets better soon. I'm not a huge LeBron fan, but still, I don't want anyone to be sick with COVID. So
yeah, all right.
Okay, next up, I want to give you a chance to talk about Roe v. Wade.
Okay.
That's the big story this week, and so obviously the Supreme Court heard the case yesterday about the Mississippi case. Mm-hmm. Why don't you fill us in as much as you know about that?
So Mississippi's got a law that they would like to put into place in their state that abortions cannot be done after 15 weeks of pregnancy. Legal experts say like this law is not just a peripheral attack on Roe v. Wade, but like a direct opposition to Roe v. Wade. So if it is allowed to stand, then Roe v. Wade will undergo quite a change and transformation. We know that maybe up to half of the 50 states in the United States have laws like this ready to go as well if Roe v. Wade does somehow get challenged in this way. And so it's a big moment in the pro-life, pro-abortion debate in our country. It does put the Supreme Court in an interesting place. I mean, here they are, like they're tasked to look over the legality of these things and to try to constrain their comments there. But it is, I think, it's almost it's nearly impossible even for like wise people like our Supreme Court justices to somehow thread the needle of we're all going to look at the legality of this, not the political side of this.
Right.
And so what do you do? Like, I mean, obviously, what even came up in their comments yesterday. I think it was Justice Sotomayor. She said that when is a baby's life a human life? And she's like, that seems to be a religious discussion and not a legal discussion. So even then they're honest that faith and politics and legal study is all kind of mixed in here. You also have popular opinion in the United States, and so this is just quite a moment. I know that for folks who've been hoping that Roe v. Wade would be overturned, like this is they think this is the moment that it could happen. And so obviously we're just hearing comment now. Maybe some decisions on it won't come until months from now, but at least we got some public opinion and some debate from the different justices. You can kind of get a sense of where this might be going, but it's still yet to be determined because even with some other legislation that's come up that the church has been interested in, they've been surprised by how the justices have landed. And so I think this thing is long from settled. And so even though yesterday was a big day because it was like a spot on the calendar, protesters outside the building, that this is a significant moment, it's going to take some time for this to bring itself to its conclusion. So I guess we'll have to wait and see.
And I have to admit, I think I'm just now getting to like the age and maturity and whatever, where I understand politics and the judicial system more than I did in the past. And so like it's just complicated because some of the justices were saying yesterday that their job is to uphold precedent. Like that's actually their job, is not to make these moral judgments necessarily, but it's to look at the Constitution and other precedents.
Yeah.
And so it's hard. Like I understand why they're in a tough spot. Wherever they land personally, their job is not to make moral grand things. It's complicated.
It is. And it would be wise for us to at least understand that. And so if you find yourself in a conversation, this is how I would coach it. Do what you want with your one and only life. But it's this,
real quick, you've picked that up from Pastor Brent.
I have.
You say that every week now.
I wonder if he's going to pick up something from me.
I hope so. Let's come up with the phrase that you start peppering it, just a random phrase, and see if we can get Brent to start saying it.
Yes.
Okay, sorry, I interrupted you.
I just think it would be wise for us in these type of conversations to say, this is where I stand. I know that's not where you stand. I understand that there is a weakness in my argument here. I just think that makes for a more pleasant and human-like conversation instead of like shouting past one another. Yeah. I mean, the book of Isaiah says that we should sit down and reason together. That might be a lost art form in a culture like ours. I mean, when's the last time that you and I, and those of us watching, you really sat down with someone that you totally were the opposite opinion of them, and your blood pressure wasn't raised up, and your voice wasn't raised, where you were calm, where you did admit where a weakness in your argument was, and there was a handshake or a hug or a knuckle at the end, and I still love you, bro, or sister, whatever, in order to kind of end the conversation that way. This is another opportunity for us to grow in grace, but also to grow in intellect and say, this: how does an intellectual argument happen that is so complicated and needs nuance in a moment like this, in a very tense topic like this in our culture?
That's the only way we'll ever make progress, right? Or else these kind of fights will just continue for eternity unless we have those kinds of conversations. So complicated, and we'll obviously continue to keep an eye on it, just like the rest of the world, the rest of the nation. So
absolutely,
big story.
Yes.
Okay, last one today.
All right.
Before the game. The number one topic yesterday, number two currently, is the Spotify Wrapped thing. So I listen to Spotify. I think you do too.
Yes.
There's a few people out there probably are Apple Music people. I'm an Apple guy, but I'm a Spotify Music guy.
Yeah, I got it on the ground floor Spotify, so
why change now?
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
And so one of the really cool things that Spotify does every year is they release this Wrapped thing where they go through your top, I think it was your top 100 songs.
Right.
And then they spit out these analytics of how many hours you did this and your top genres and just kind of all stats about all your music habits. And so it's kind of a cool thing to look back.
Yeah.
So a lot of people are sharing their top things, and so it's just kind of fun to do that. So are you brave enough? What were some of your top music choices this year on Spotify?
So the top music choices all have to do with my kids. So, I mean, my kids were in the car with me a lot this past year. Ezra enjoys Fall Out Boy and like some of that, like the old emo stuff.
Dude, that was my jam in high school. I still pull it up sometimes.
I know. So a lot of them were Fall Out Boy or The Strokes or Franz Ferdinand. Like,
dude.
There's a Spotify playlist called Garage Rock Revival.
Okay.
That we absolutely killed. And then Avery's a huge Beatles fan, so I wasn't surprised the Beatles was on there. I've listened to a lot more country this in 2021, so like Zach Brown and some of those are on there. I just think it's cool. Like, I mean, do you want to share your Wrapped or do you want to keep it under wraps?
Well, mine's not very exciting. Mine's basically the same since like high school. So my top artists were Need to Breathe, Switchfoot, Matt Carney, and
Matt with one T, right?
Matt with one T.
That's right.
Yes. So it's very on brand for my musical taste.
Nice.
I was in the top 0.5% of Need to Breathe listeners, so I listen to a lot of Need to Breathe.
That's awesome. And that's fun. That actually rakes and brings you some benefits because, so like Avery's in the top, like 0.1%, 0.01%, whatever. She's in the very top of Beatles listeners. Listen to them all the time. Paul McCartney made an album during quarantine, called it Rock Down.
Okay.
And Spotify sent us an email.
Wow.
Seeing if we want to get in on like one of like 500 or 600 vinyls that were made of this one and only limited edition. And so we got it for her. So there might be some kickback.
I thought about tweeting at Need to Breathe and be like, hey guys, I'm a big fan. What you got?
What would they give you?
I have no
know.
idea.
But
just a Twitter shout out or something. I don't know.
I do think these things are interesting. So obviously they're stoking, I think, brand desire, like because nostalgia is powerful, right? Looking back gives you fond memories, and so you listen to it more.
Yeah.
So they can obviously gain some off more listening. But I think this goes to like one of my favorite quotations ever is from Picasso.
Okay.
He said about nostalgia, you can honor your grandpa by wearing his hat or by becoming a grandparent yourself.
Oh, that's cool.
And so like there's two different levels of nostalgia and commitment.
Yeah.
And so I think this is Spotify like kind of stoking that entry level nostalgia, like looking back and being fond. Like, but the next level is to like, so here's some chord charts of how to play your favorite songs.
Yeah.
So you actually become a musician, or else like contribute to it. More than that, I don't know.
Yeah.
So like, there's a way that they could stoke that nostalgia, that brand desire, even further if they wanted to.
Yep.
So,
It's cool. It's a cool thing.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, so that takes me to our game for today. Are you ready for this?
Let's do it.
So I was looking through. So Spotify also released, and Apple Music did too, the top 100 songs streamed globally and in the U.S.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, here's where I have to admit, man. This is whenever these lists come out is when I start to feel old.
Oh, super old.
There's so many of the like top songs I have never heard of the person or the artist or the song, never.
Right.
And again, like I pay pretty close attention to pop culture stuff, and I like to think I'm in the know until I see these lists.
Man.
And so, and the year end is when all these lists come out, right?
Right.
The top whatever of this, the top whatever that. So I'm gonna quiz you on a couple things.
Oh,
are you ready, Joe?
Okay, get ready for like 0 out of 5. Here.
Okay. So I thought what we would do is kind of the year end thing. So I'm using the EGOT.
The
Okay?
EGOT.
Do you know what the EGOT is?
No.
So the EGOT, I think there are 16 people currently who have won an Emmy, a Grammy, an Oscar, and a Tony.
Okay.
So they call it the EGOT. There's only very few people. So I'm going to take this year's Emmys, Grammys, Oscars, and Tonys.
Okay.
And see if you can tell me the top winner. I'll give you multiple choice.
Okay.
So we'll see how
Oh my gosh.
how culturally aware you are on those on the EGOT.
Okay.
Okay, you ready?
Let's do it.
Okay, for the Emmy,
Okay.
for the most outstanding drama.
Okay.
Okay, here are your choices. Was it The Boys, Bridgerton, The Crown, Handmaid's Tale, Lovecraft Country, The Mandalorian, Pose, or This Is Us? First of all, have you heard of those? Have you watched most of them?
I've heard a half of them.
Okay.
I think I'm gonna go with The Crown.
That's right.
See, I was
Way to
thinking Bridgerton because it was like wildly popular at the moment it dropped.
Yes.
Right. Yes. Getting all those Downton Abbey people back in.
That's right. That's right.
Okay. All right.
Emmy, most outstanding drama was The Crown.
All right.
And interesting, This Is Us is the only one of those that were on broadcast TV.
I know.
The rest were on Netflix.
It's
Hulu,
all
and
changed,
HBO.
man. It's all changed, and don't be cranky about it. It's just the way it is.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. I feel like you're a good music guy. Here's the Grammys.
Okay.
I don't even know how to pronounce some of these.
Okay.
So get ready. The Grammy for the album of the year. You
Okay.
ready? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So Black Pumas by Black Pumas.
Okay.
This is one I don't know how to say. Chilombo
Mm-hmm.
by Jenny Aiko.
Okay.
What? I don't know.
All right.
DeJesse, Volume 3 by Jacob Collier.
Okay.
Everyday Life by Coldplay. I know that one.
Okay.
Folklore by Taylor Swift.
Okay.
I know that one. Future Nostalgia by Dua Lipa.
Okay.
Hollywood's Bleeding by Post Malone.
Okay.
Or Women in Music Part 3 by Haim.
I want to say Post Malone.
Okay, good guess, but no. Taylor Swift, Folklore. Taylor Swift won.
Well, good for her. I enjoy Taylor Swift, so all right.
Yeah.
Bring the hate now is fine.
Yeah, I did too.
You listen to her too, and you like it. You hum along. Don't even tell me you don't. All right.
Yes.
You're a liar.
But dude, have you heard of Jenny Aiko or
No.
Black Pumas or Jacob Collier?
I'm telling you. So I go to the gym 4 mornings a week.
Okay.
And at least one of those mornings, they have a playlist of things I've never heard of before. But it's still catchy. Like,
yeah.
So I bet you some people were like, "This is not even music." I'm like, "No, like this is music."
yeah.
But I have no idea about it. Like I have no idea. It's a big, big world out there, man.
We're proving how old we are. But okay, you ready for Oscar Best Picture? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay.
I did not see any of these movies.
Okay.
Okay, so The Father,
Okay.
Judas and the Black Messiah,
Okay.
Mank, Minari, Nomadland, Promising Young Woman, Sound of Metal,
Okay.
or The Trial of the Chicago 7? Did you see any of those?
I didn't see any of those.
Okay.
I want to say Mink.
Okay. It was Mank.
Sorry.
And no. Nomadland. Which again...
Okay, I heard of Nomadland. Okay, I should have gone with that one.
Dude, I don't know anything about any of these. I feel like we're so behind. Okay, last one. For anybody who's still watching, who won? Okay, good luck. The Tony for Best Musical.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, there's only 3 options. I think you got a good shot at this. Okay. So, Jagged Little Pill, Moulin Rouge, or Tina, the Tina Turner Story.
I think it is Jagged Little Pill.
It was Moulin Rouge.
Wow.
Which I don't know if they're... I would have thought that would have been a long time ago. I don't know if it's a revival of that story.
It might have, yeah. I mean, the whole like Broadway endeavor was on hold and it came roaring back. So
true.
Maybe they went back with some. Maybe they were stoking nostalgia. Like, let's bring back some of the stuff we know that people will go to.
Yeah, that could be.
Wow.
Okay, last. Do you think you can name the champions of the 4 major sports leagues? Who won the Super Bowl?
Who won the Super Bowl this past year was Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Okay.
Tampa Bay, right?
Yep. And NBA?
NBA was I'm blanking, but I shouldn't be blanking. NBA was the Milwaukee Bucks.
There you go. The Bucks and the Bucks.
Okay.
Yep.
The Bucks and the Bucks.
What about the baseball World Series?
The World Series this year was won by not the Houston Astros. So it was a National League team, and it was not the Dodgers because they got beat out. It was the Atlanta Braves after a long hiatus.
Yep.
Right? Okay.
Last but not least, NHL.
It was Tampa Bay Lightning.
There you go.
Nice.
You got it, man.
There we go. Tampa Bay.
It was either Tampa Bay or the Bucks. If you say one of those, you're probably going to get it.
I know,
right,
and with the Rays contending like two falls ago for the World Series, man, like Tampa Bay really would have had him.
That's
like,
crazy.
They had the whole monopoly. So, anyways.
Okay, well, I hope you found that interesting. It's just crazy. Like, there's so many pop culture things that even I feel like if you're in the know, there's still so much we don't know. So
that's right. We have our own little sliver, and we make a big deal about it. And at the end of the day, to use a biblical term, that's kind of like off in a far corner of the world. And there's so much else that goes on, which is good.
Yeah.
So we can maybe have just a little more humility about things that we're into and things that we believe and all that stuff. So it's a big, big world.
All right. Well, so it's the first trending of December. Okay. We got a few more episodes left for the year, so I got some fun things planned.
Good, yeah. So we just know that sometimes it may not come out on Thursday the rest of the month, and so because of that, we'll get out and it'll be clear, and you'll see it in the Facebook feed and things like that. But thanks for tuning in.
Yeah. So hey, Merry Christmas! It's that time.
It is.
Even though it's 75, it's still Merry Christmas time.
Merry Christmas.
So thanks for watching. Merry Christmas. See you next time.
See you next time.